Brand new reports about Jeremy Swayman's contract have been revealed and reveals that things may not all be the truth with that $10 million. I want to be talking about that, what this next contract could look like according to some articles, as well as what this update is. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about that, as well as Brad Marchand with some offseason injuries that we have to talk about. He could have a very interesting next contract that could have quite a few negative implications on what we will see coming from him. But like I said, we got to talk about all of this here in this video. Before we get into it though, we notice that 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join me here as we cover everything that the Bruins have to offer, as well as this very big upcoming Jeremy Swayman contract extension. And discussing this, we have some very good news regarding what we may see from Swayman. And this really does change everything. And you know, this chapter is not a lie. I want to talk about this and how this update that I have coming from Frank Seravalli and the Daily Faceoff article really shows that Swayman may not be making $10 million like we've all thought, maybe not even asking for it. So I'll pull this up without any further wasting any time. It says, it was recently reported that Swayman is seeking $10 million per season. But Frank Seravalli has heard otherwise. In either scenario, it is apparent that the Bruins and Swayman have some work to do to reach an agreement. And I will, in a moment, pull up that quote from Frank Seravalli, what he had to say, but I want to talk about this first. Frank Seravalli is a reporter that most of us know, and he's one that has been very trustworthy over the years. And I know that what we heard coming that $10 million AAV from Jeremy Swayman, coming from that podcast, I'm not saying that's not reliable, but in my personal opinion, from watching hockey over the past few years, watching all the news, Frank Seravalli, to me, is more of a trusted reporter than many other people. So this is what I'm going off of right now. Let's pull up that quote from Frank Seravalli. I think Swayman was somewhere in the mid-8s for $1 million AAV earlier this summer, and I think that the Bruins were in the low 6s. That, I think, is a pretty sizable gap that has not been bridged yet. And this is one thing that, if this is true, if this is exactly what we're seeing, if this is what Frank Seravalli is hearing, this is massive. We know that Jeremy Swayman has been reportedly asking upwards of $10 million. As you've seen there a moment ago, Frank Seravalli hasn't heard that, and that's something that I'm very happy to report, being able to hear that from Frank Seravalli, you know, a guy that very trustworthy over the past few years, has gotten a lot of stuff right, and has some very good inside sources. Having Jeremy Swayman asking price $8.5 million and the Bruins are at $6 million, you really can't complain about this. At this point now, if this is what we're seeing, the Bruins need to get something done here, because with that $10 million, they've seen the way the fans reacted. They've seen the way that the thought process of many people, fans and critics of a $10 million goalie not named Sergei Bobrovsky or Carey Price, how that went down with a lot of people. So if this is what we're seeing, if Jeremy Swayman is at that 8.5, mid-8 mark, this is a deal you do immediately. And obviously, another big part of this is Jeremy Swayman wants this team to get better. And a lot of that has to do with the cap space that the Bruins do have right now. And as you see, $8.6 million, that would make sense if Swayman was asking that. You know, he don't want to make this team have to make more moves to be able to put him in this lineup, make him fit under the cap. So having this come out, having this being reported, really does make us feel a lot better. And if this is what we're seeing, and once again, if this is true, this changes the entire outlook of this Swayman contract. And the Bruins, if they are going out and trying to get that, you know, $6 million mark for Swayman, and I do know that he hasn't yet been able to comfortably, in my opinion, say that he's worth a $10 million goalie. I'm not saying he won't be at any point in his career. This is exactly what we want to see. This is something that is going to be good and something that needs to get done if the Bruins are going to do this. And I will pull this up on a different one here. Once again, I pull this up on a lot of them. The goaltending aspect, the situation of the contracts throughout the NHL. If the Swayman is in that $6 million area, he's going to be around the names of Marchand, Binnington, John Gibson. You know, in my opinion, I'm sure many of you guys out there as well think this, Swayman is above those names. I would not say yet, the keyword yet, at that $10 million mark, but having an $8 million goalie, you get kind of that area where we see Jeremy Swayman's name pop up amongst these other names. And Ilya Sorokin, Connor Hellebuck, Andrei Vasilevsky, that kind of area is where we see Swayman. So this is something that I'm very happy to be able to see. Something that, once again, if true, because we know that not all the reports are true, if this is true, this is going to be a very big outcome for the Bruins, and in a much better scenario now that fans can see that it may not be a $10 million number. And we also have to look at what kind of contract could be. And in some more reports, some more articles, a lot of people are thinking there could be a bridge deal involved. And at this point right now, what we're seeing in this offseason, I do want to pull up this from Kevin Paul DuPont as well. Given that the Bruins have not yet used Swayman as a full-time number one, they are looking to ink him in a bridge deal. One of maybe 3 to 4 years, scaled up from his $3.475 million of last season. The number could be, say, $22 to $24 million if stretched to 4 years. At which point, then would be eligible to become an unrestricted free agent at 29. And that's from Kevin Paul DuPont once again. However, I don't think that is the case. I don't think that we're going to see a bridge deal for Swayman at this point. I think this has gone too far to not be an 8-year deal, a full extension at whether it be 8.5 or mid-8s, what Swayman's asking, or whether the Bruins are still trying to get him down. Either one, I'm going to be okay with that. I just didn't want to see $10 million, but the Bruins obviously are trying to get this low as possible, and that's completely understandable. But to ease the minds of us Bruins fans, that's something that I can feel pretty comfortable in reporting, and some big things that could change the outlook of what this contract is. So like I said, we gotta wait, but it looks good. Things may be looking up. So let me know what you think about this whole Jeremy Swayman asking 8.5 reportedly. It's very big news, very big update, and one thing that all of us want to hear. But then on to our second topic of this video, and another one that could have some very big implications on his next contract extension. This is not Jeremy Swayman. This is actually Brad Marchand with some very tough news that came out today that underwent 3 different surgeries in this offseason. After Don Sweeney had said that there's no scheduled offseason surgeries, we could see some very big contract changes from Brad Marchand on this next one that is going to come out. So let's pull up the screenshot here from Connor Ryan and what he had to say. It says, Brad Marchand said he underwent 3 surgeries this offseason to repair a torn tendon in his elbow, along with a groin and abdominal injury. Said he dealt with the elbow injury all season, while groin and abdominal injuries were sprouted up late in the year. And this is one thing that I think we all kind of expected after what we had seen from his play last season in the playoffs, in the regular season. Brad Marchand just didn't seem like the Brad Marchand we all know and love. He didn't seem like himself, and this completely makes sense now. We very much theorized that he did have an injury. Couldn't speculate what it was, couldn't speculate how many, but after looking at that report, after looking at his stats last year, 67 points in 82 games, while still playing all 82, that guy is an absolute dog, and you cannot take that away from him. You got to say that this is going to be a very happy outlook for Marchand next year, hoping and knowing that he can be back to full health, get back to the Marchand that he wants to be, that we want him to be. But we know that contract, injury-prone stuff like that at his age can definitely sway what a contract might be. So could Brad Marchand potentially take a lower salary deal, knowing that the injury could re-arise, any of these 3, or could impact what we have seen or what we see in future seasons, and don't want to risk the Bruins' future with this? That's something that we're going to have to touch on at a later date. But right now, having all these injuries come out, having Marchand be able to say this, saying that he got them all repaired, and hopefully come out next season healthy, ready to go once again, and still playing all 82 games, this could be something that we need to see from this guy. He's done so many wonders in the gold and black and the black and gold, but it is one thing that we deserve him. We deserve to let him have a rest and everything, but that's not the player he is. He wants to go no matter what. So let me know what you think about these injuries as well. Do you think this could change the outlook of his next contract? I think it may have at least a little bit of a sway going into a different direction, but you never know. Once again, Brad Marchand, the absolute dog for the Bruins. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well, and let me know what you think about all of this news here that we have to bring you today. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day. See you later.